Hi, my name is Steven. I work in the Snappy support team. Today I'm going to go over some new features that we added on the Construction Daily Log. We were going to do a live demo earlier today, but due to some complications we weren't able to, so I'm just going to make a recording instead, and if you have any questions you can always email me at steven@snappy.com or support@snappy.com, whatever's easier for you, doesn't matter to us. Alright, so for starters, you're going to want to download the app. Once you have the app downloaded, you're going to click it as if you were just clicking into an app, and it's going to ask you if you want to create a login. Go ahead and do that. Once you get past all of that stuff, you're going to see this screen, and this is basically the new home screen for the Construction Daily Log. We're calling it 3.0, but really this is like I've lost count of how many different iterations we've had of this app with all the tweaks and different things that we add to it, so we're just going to go with 3.0 for now. So I'm going to go from top to bottom because there's a lot of stuff to cover, and I only have 8% of my battery left, so hopefully I can cover all of it. I think we'll be okay. I'm not going to try to make this too long. I wasn't going to make the webinar too long either. I'm going to try to make it as short as possible while still giving you all the information that you need. And I also want to talk a little bit about Snappy in the meantime. So first thing I want to show you is up here you have a little option for the hamburger menu. And what this is basically is the different things that you can do within the app. So right now all the stuff is going to be basically Snappy related things, but what I wanted to show you was that you can customize this to do whatever you want. So we have a bunch of different widgets and things like that that you can add to it. Things like notifications, and that community button there is basically a forum, and those are things that you can take advantage of too for your own business. So say if you wanted to send notifications to certain people in your crew, or if you wanted to have a sort of forum on the app for people to all communicate with, that's all possible as well. So moving on, that's the hamburger menu, and like I said, completely customizable. So now up top, you're going to see this is probably the coolest thing that we've added is the difference between superintendent and project manager. So in the past, there was no really division of roles between the app. You basically only had the superintendent, and he could only make new daily reports. So we have a couple different things you can do now within this app, and we try to make it as all-in-one as we could. So I'm going to start with project manager just because it makes a little bit more sense than starting with superintendent. But basically the idea is once you set everything up on project manager, doing the superintendent part is going to be super simple. So I'm going to start with project manager, and like I said, the first thing on the top there is you're going to see the superintendent's list. Now what this list is basically is you're going to add all the different contractors and employees that you have working under you. And what this allows you to do later is you can pull them up for easy access when you're making the actual form. You can see I added Joe Schmo already, who works at Steelworks. Not really, but whatever. And if I wanted to add another person, all I would have to do is click that plus sign, and then just put whatever company they work for. I'm trying to think of a name. Let's say Hister and Yale, just because they're kind of big. And the guy's name is Mike, and his email is mike@mike.com. So once we have that, I'm going to press save, and you can see it shows up on my list of people that are working under me. So it's a very easy way to kind of have an overview of the different people that are going to be working on any given project that you might have. On the next screen, you're going to see my projects, and I actually don't have anything here yet, but it's very easy to add projects here, and you can see it gives you, again, a kind of overview of the different things you can do with your project. So say you're starting a new project and the name is pool or something. And the start date, you can put your estimated end date. The cool thing about this is that you can print an invoice for your clients right away. And all the stuff that you would need is basically already in the app. So you can set the location, you can put your logo, address, what have it, anything you want. And then at the bottom here you can see add superintendents, and if I press add new, it'll show the two superintendents that I added already. Oh, and I also want to point out that you have a search bar up here, so if you have a lot of people, it's very easy to find who you're looking for. So then I'm going to press save, and then you can see my pool project is now there, and you can see it's about to start. So that'll change as you go on. It'll say, in progress for 3 days or 2 days left or whatever's easier to read, the system will automatically put it there. One thing I wanted to mention, for people that have a lot of people to put, say you have like, dozens and dozens of employees and you don't really want to do it one by one, you can also upload an Excel document with all the employees' names and the app will register them all automatically. So it's a lot easier in that sense. So after that, you can see project reports, and here it allows you to see the projects you've received and the projects that you've missed. Hopefully you haven't missed many. And this kind of plays in hand with the superintendent side of things, but since I haven't gotten there yet, it's not going to make too much sense. But the basic idea is that you can look up projects that have already been completed in the past. And the cool thing about this is rather than having all your stuff on paper, it's all indexed. So say you had that project pool. You just click projects up here, pool, and bam, it'll come up. I don't have any information for that project because I just made it right now, but you can see that it's easy to find the projects that you were looking for, and you can even do it by date if you want. So the last feature on the project manager side of things, is the dash. That ad keeps throwing me off. Is the dashboard. So the dashboard is exactly what it sounds like. It gives you kind of an overview of the different projects that you have going on. I have this random generic project here with 3 reports in it, and if I click that, it'll show me all the reports for that project. Likewise, if I click up here where it says View Graphics and Analytics, this is also a new feature that we added. It'll show me a visual representation of the project's cost and the project's time. So you can see here I only have one fake project, and that project is taking up all of my time and all of my money. But once you get more, I'm sure it'll be more useful for you than that. So moving on, the superintendent side of things. So you can see here, this is going to look more similar to our previous iterations of the construction daily log. The idea here is that you complete your daily report, and then you're able to see it either as a PDF or a completed report, which is basically just a Word document. Assigned projects will allow you to see who is working on what. And it'll also allow you to administer projects to certain people. Say you want Mike from Steelworks or Joe from Steelworks, to work on this project. Assigned projects will allow you to assign it to that individual person. So I'm going to click New Daily Report. Let's go into that really quick and check it out. On the top you can see it says Use My Form. So Use My Form, basically what it is it sends an inquiry to us regarding your form. And that form you can use it on basically, you can use whatever you want for that form. Say you have one that you've already been using for a while and you don't really want to change your form, you can just put Use My Form and it'll send an email to us. You attach your form to it and we'll make the form for you. So that's more if you want to send a query, but I'm more here to show you about the different features that the app has. So for starters, I think the coolest part about this is the history button. So what history does is it allows you to fill in previous project information into your form, and it'll automatically fill that stuff in. So say I have this CJDJ whatever project here, and I'm going to press save, and it'll automatically fill in different aspects of that project. I didn't have much saved on that project, so it won't really show you much, but you can see that the project name changed. On the next pages after this, you'll see a little bit more changes on the project and why that's relevant. Assigned projects is basically the same thing, but it doesn't have to be a project you already submitted. So assigned project is useful if you are trying to say Mike is always that guy that does the scaffolding inspections. You can assign this part of the form so that every time Mike completes the form, he just has to click his name, and most of the form will fill out for him. The stuff that is going to stay the same no matter what day it is. So that's assigned projects. And moving on, you can see you can change a lot of stuff here. For example, the arrival time. It's going to automatically log the time that it currently is, but you can easily change it just by scrolling up on these numbers here. Same thing for departure time. Oops, I didn't mean to click save there. Whoopsie. There we go. We're back in. Thank you for submitting that unfinished report. And departure time, same business. So you just press done, you're good. Weather, it usually grabs this automatically, but because I don't have my GPS feature on, it's not going to do it. But yeah, it'll always just grab the weather in the area for, you know, whatever it is. It does that automatically. Or you can enter it in manually, whatever you want. And then on the bottom here, you'll see you can actually check off the different things for that day. Are there any scheduled delays? And this will change the form later on. If I click all these things, it'll ask me, okay, what scheduled delays? What accidents were there on site? Who came to the site? But if I don't, it'll leave it out. So I'm just going to leave one checked just so we don't have a super long form later on. I'll just put the accidents one. And then moving on, the way you get to the next page here, which a lot of people don't seem to understand, you just swipe it to the right, as if you were, you know, swiping a book on a page or something. Okay, so on the next page, you have different features or different things that you can add to the form. So one thing I want you to keep in mind is that you can always change what this is asking. Say you don't need to know about issues and delays for whatever reason, you can take that part out. And it's really easy to do on the Snappy platform. It's something that we kind of abide by. We try to make everything as easy as possible. So if, say, you don't need one of these things, it's very easy to take it out. Or if, say, you wanted to change one of these things to like a drop-down menu just to make it that much faster so someone doesn't have to manually type in like work performed today, I did scaffolding, and I worked on the blueprints or whatever. So, cool thing about this too, this little clock on the side here, it's basically a history clock. So if you entered in stuff before, it'll pull up those things that you've entered before. Obviously, I always enter in gibberish apparently, so it's only going to show gibberish, but it's very useful if you don't want to re-input the information. We try to cut as many corners in that sense as you could, so that if you don't need to re-input the information, you don't have to. It's just a matter of pressing a couple buttons. Okay, and then this mic on the side, basically what this is it allows you to put a voice note attached to the document. And it'll divide up where the voice notes go according to what section you put them in. But this is a nifty feature because, well, you can use my microphone, because you could just talk instead of having to type. And that makes things a lot faster for people that kind of suck at typing. I have fat fingers and I'm honestly not that good. My phone's really small, so it's difficult for me to hit all the right letters at the right time. So this makes it easy. I can just press use audio up here in the corner and it'll show you that little check mark to show you that there is some audio attached to that field. Same goes for every other field you see here. And like I said, if you need to change something or even, you know, add something too, very easy to do. So I'm going to swipe to the next page now. You can see we have some more stuff that you can do here. For starters, you can add more people to your workforce. And let's say you have someone, a contractor that you've never seen before. His name's, I always use Joe and Mike. Let's say his name is Rob. And he's the lead for the day, or the assistant lead. He's a new guy, so he can't be the lead. And he worked for 6 hours that day, traveled for an hour, and that was all he did. So once I press done, I press save at the top up here, and it'll show you kind of an overview of the different people that are going to be working on your project. I'm going to add 2 people just really quick, just so you can see later on how this affects the form. So again, I'm just going to put tech, and if you need to add new options for jobs, that's right there. Cool thing about that too is that if you add an option, it's there permanently, so if you don't have to really do it again. Like I said, we try to cut as many corners as possible in that sense. Let's say he worked 12 hours. Guy worked all day and he traveled for 4. So he wasn't even home in time for dinner. Save there, right? And now you can see you have a little list going for your labor. Same thing for subcontractors. And I'm going to go ahead and put, you know, more information here. You can add, you know, whatever you want, paint, electric, plumbing, sprinkler, all that stuff. Say the guy had worked on the HVAC for 2 hours, he traveled for 4 because he really needed the job and he was willing to go out of his way to get there. And let's say this CJDJ guy was a carpenter and he also worked an hour and traveled 5 hours. Cool. So again, I'm just putting this information really quick to show you how it affects the form later on. Okay, so rental costs. I'm also going to do this one really quick. Let's say your equipment, you used a forklift and you used it for 2 hours, costed you $50 an hour, which I know is ridiculous. It doesn't cost $50 an hour, but just for argument's sake. All right, and I'll add another rental there. Let's say you also rent a trampoline for some reason. I spelled trampoline wrong. Whatever, doesn't matter. And let's say we use it for 6 hours, and that one costed us $90 an hour. We spent more money on the trampoline than we did on the forklift. Cool, so now we have some stuff inputted as well for our rental costs. If you want to add any project photos, you could do this as well. Really easy to do. You would just press Add New. If you want to take a new photo, you just click there, and then you can add a description to the photo. You can also upload a photo if you'd like, whatever's easier for you. And then you also have upload PDF if you need to add any additional information to it. Maybe you need to add like a regulatory form or whatever. All right, cool. So once we got all that stuff going, I'm going to go ahead and swipe to the next page. And this is why I added a bunch of random information. Now this page will show you an overview of the different hours and the amount of money you spent on that day. So not very useful when you only have 2 people and you rented 2 things, one of which was a trampoline. But if you have a bunch of people, it might give you a better idea of where your hours are going and where your money's going. Cool, and then at that point, you can also send this report to, you can send it to multiple email addresses if you want. I'm just going to put my email, and then I'm going to put save and send. Whoops, I forgot to name my project. Bunch of random letters. There we go. Cool. Go back to the last page here, and I'm going to click save and send. So that's another cool feature too. You can make fields mandatory. So if you want to make sure that your employees put the cost, or you want to make sure they put their hours or what time they came in, you can make those fields mandatory to make sure that they cannot complete the form unless they do those things. So pretty neat little function there. You can see here, this is what the final form is going to look like. Very nice and organized. You can see I have my labor here, my subcontractors here, and then my rentals here, my trampoline. And then you can also see I have my work performed today, and I also have my audio log there so that I can pull it up whenever I want to. That's the one that we recorded when we were doing the form on the second page. So you have that, again, nice and neat, and then the third page is going to have your project photos, which I didn't take any, so it's not going to have anything there. So clicking on the completed reports now, I can see that report and I can pull it up again if I want to. I think it was this one here with a really long, confusing name. And another cool part too is that I can edit the report. Say I forgot, oh, I needed to add another rental cost or something. So I would just click here, and bam, I'm back in there where I was. And then you can just go to the last page and send it and do basically the whole thing over again if you need to. So say you just want to see that final PDF report though. That's where you go to PDF report files. And you can see here we have the different PDFs that I've completed. I've done a bunch today because I've been trying to do this live demo for a bit already, keep messing up. Well, the programs on my computer keep messing up, but you can see that it has all the information that I just saw and it's easy to get to. And you can see that with any of the forms that you've completed. And then assigned projects, last one I'm going to show you. And like I said, this is basically so you can see what projects are assigned to you. And you can do this by user basis. So if you have a certain user by the name of whatever, you can make sure that that specific project is going to that user and he knows about it or she knows about it. You can also search by status. Is it in progress, finished, or is it about to start? What's happening with it? Since I don't have any projects assigned to me, since I'm not a construction worker, it's not going to show anything. But that's the basic idea of it. And that's it. That's the New Construction Daily Log app. So I hope that was informative. If you have any questions, like I said in the beginning of the video, you can go ahead and contact me at steven@snappy.com or support@snappy.com. We also have a number on our website if you want to contact the salespeople, and that would be for if you wanted to customize the app or if you had any questions, they can help you out as well. We're all a pretty close-knit family, so any of us pretty much know anything about the app and all of its little nuances. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it was informative, and hope you tune in next week. Hopefully we can actually do a webinar next week, and I can have some live interaction with you guys, see what your questions and concerns are. Maybe we can bounce back ideas and see where we're going from there. Again, thank you for watching, and hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. Take it easy.